host Brett, and we're here to bring you an in-depth look into the Wheel of Time show. We'll share reactions, episode breakdowns, and relevant background information without spoiling future content from the book series. So let's get watching. Today we're talking about episode 7 of season 2 of the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, episode 7 is Daes Dae'mar.
Daes Dae'mar.
The game of houses.
That's what that means.
The great game.
The great game.
Yeah, we do get some gameplayage here.
Okay.
And I don't know, is this like a falling up between Moiraine and Siuan?
Yeah.
It's kind of emotionally charged here.
It's a breakup.
That's what it seems like, and I didn't want to say that, but rewatching this like a second and third time, it felt even more like a breakup than initially.
It's really sad because they're they have their mission.
The mission's so important.
But they also love each other.
Yeah, but the
then
mission.
It's like, how could you?
Yeah. But it's like, how could you? And there's a lot of things that are said, but
there's so much.
Yeah.
And I thought it was super interesting because I'm pretty sure this is the second time I've seen this episode.
Okay. I've seen it a lot more. I've watched it a few more times.
I remember last year on the way to JordanCon.
Right, yeah.
We rewatched a lot of the episodes, like on the plane.
Yes, because we were on panels for it.
We were on panels for it and stuff. But I'm pretty sure that I never made it to episode 7 and 8.
You didn't fit. So I rewatched the entire thing. I think you stopped, though.
Yeah, I think I've only seen episode 7 and 8 one time.
Okay.
When they first came out.
Well, that's exciting. I
don't think I've seen them again.
Okay.
Unless we rewatch it almost immediately, like that week.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it.
Since that.
Yeah, almost a year and a half.
Okay.
So this was fun for me because I actually didn't remember everything that happened.
It's a good episode.
Yeah, I agree.
And it kind of feels like all signs are pointing now to the last episode. Like, I didn't feel like we had a lot of big cliffhangers necessarily. It was like all the arrows for everybody
is pointing to
Falm.
We're going to Falm. We are going to meet up.
That's where we're going.
Yep.
Heard there's a party there. We're all going to show up, hopefully. So.
Well, some sort of proclamation or something.
Yeah, it sounds exciting.
Some sort of prophecy fulfillment. Okay, so Daes Dae'mar, episode 7 of season 2, originally aired September 29th, 2023. And the episode description I thought was really funny because it says Moiraine and Rand's plans are thwarted by someone they already know.
That is a weird one.
Okay.
Like,
sure.
Is that Lanfear?
I
guess.
No.
Swan? Maybe? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Who's the person they already know? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Lan?
Okay. Not the time
Rand's
for that.
plans are thwarted.
What a weird description.
Yeah, it's weird. So I had to say it.
Do the recap.
Okay. There is some stuff from season 1 in this recap.
Okay.
That I'm going to mention. So basically, all of Moraine's plot points from season 1 were recapped.
Okay.
In case you forgot.
Okay.
Everything about Siuan and their relationship.
Yeah.
And then the swearing on the oath rod.
Right.
To Siuan.
Yes.
And not the Amyrlin seat.
Yeah, that's going to be relevant.
Specifically. Mm-hmm. And then also her battle with Ishamael.
Okay.
At the end, where she gets cut off from the source.
Gotcha.
Relevant, yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into the cold open because we have had a few tidbits of information trailed out before us the last few episodes. For example, Alana saying, hey, I don't know what happened 20 years ago, but all of a sudden Moiraine just changed. What happened 20 years ago?
Oh, what happened 20 years ago?
20 years ago. 20 years ago.
Oh, 20 years ago. Oh, the Aiel War. Oh, 20 years
20 years ago. 20 years. Yeah, so we open with the 20 years ago shot. Mm-hmm. And we've also heard of this story, I think in season 1, about the Aes Sedai who had eyes as white as whatever and can't see anything, but in fact could see everything.
I believe in episode 1 of season 1.
Okay.
It's right when she's trying to convince them that they have to run away from the two rivers.
Right. Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because she's like, listen, this is a thing that happened to me.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing.
And one of you, it's one of you.
Yeah.
So you better come with me.
Yeah. So I really like that we get to see the young Siuan and young Moiraine.
Yeah.
You can tell because
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Because I like it.
Do you? Is it the hair? Is it the...
No, I like all of it. I think it's really sweet. And I think it's very obvious that they're quite a bit younger.
Yeah.
But I actually don't like that they're quite a bit younger looking. Because I know for the audience, we're supposed to know this was 20 years ago and they look different.
Right.
But they really, in my opinion, shouldn't look that different.
Gotcha. I understand.
20 years really isn't that long to change looks dramatically for an Aes Sedai.
Yeah, like if Anvir is like 60 years old or something, hypothetically, and then Moiraine is supposed to be 80, right, or something, and then so this would be when they're like 60-year-olds, basically.
Yeah.
But it feels...
No, I don't buy that, though. Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Okay.
So I think that it looks great, and I think for TV it makes total sense.
Yeah.
But for Aes Sedai age progression...
Yeah.
And then you see them today, and you're like, oh, whoa.
It's been a rough 20 years.
Oh, seriously. Especially for an Aes Sedai, right?
It's been very stressful.
Yeah. But I think they aged them down almost too much.
Right, okay. That's pretty funny.
It looks great, and I love it.
Yeah.
And they actually look 20 years younger, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think they should.
Okay.
That's just my personal take on this situation.
Gotcha. So the conversation that we have here, so notice they are both in very blue outfits here.
Because they've become their blue Aes Sedai now.
Yes, and it sounds like they're talking about going to Cairhien to meet Moraine's family. Yeah. From what it sounds like. And it sounds like this is maybe the first time Siuan has ever met her family, but this is like the introducing the relationship to your parents, right?
Well, they're having this conversation because the war is over.
Yes. Oh, that's
just announced.
That's the other big part.
Yeah, the bells are ringing or whatever, and the war is over.
Yeah,
and so
the Aiel are going home.
Yes, and so now whatever they've been doing for whatever amount of time that the war has been on,
right,
they get to sort of be free of that now.
Yeah.
And so they're making plans for their future.
Yeah, and there is some cute back and forth with like the, oh, are you going to be my fish wife? And it's like, no, you're going to be my fish wife.
So many fish metaphors.
In the bamboo hut by the river, which is where they do link up. They have the secret bamboo hut on the river. That's
where they do it.
Yes, it's the doing it bamboo hut. That's the thing.
That is what that is.
And eventually they can retire in the far, far future, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Besides the point, that's all the cutesy stuff. Then we're moving on into the room of Gitara, because Moiraine and Siuan have a message for her that the war is over.
Right.
That's what they're actually here to do.
Yeah. Now, so this is some high up Aes Sedai lady.
Well, yeah, she's the lady who can see stuff, even though she's blind. She can see the future or present or something. Like, it's a little bit unclear exactly what her powers are.
The foretellings and the prophecies and the visions.
You have it. You got it. So, she literally has the vision that's overlaid with the death scene of Rand's mom and Rand being born on Dragonmount that we got to see.
So good.
In season 1. It's amazing. And we get to see Gitara having the vision of Rand currently and actively being born on Dragonmount. And she does the whole, the dragon is born again. I feel it. It's happening right now. The baby's in the snow. You gotta find the baby. Like, all that good stuff.
But we know someone carries that baby away.
Friggin' Tam.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Now, can I point out?
Sure.
Just some neat, maybe coincidental, maybe not.
Okay.
So this is the cold open of episode 7 in season 2.
Oh my goodness. Was it really?
And the Aiel fight scene where Rand is born is the cold open of season 7.
That is really cool.
Or episode 7 of season 1.
Yeah, that's neat. Mm-hmm. That's good. I'm glad they did that.
Uh-huh.
It's like literally in time. Perfect. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and then Bad News Bears, she immediately dies. As Rand's mom seems to be dying. Like, maybe at the same time we can do that.
Okay.
And then she says, hey, you guys have to find the Dragon Reborn. That's your mission.
So it's mission time.
That's the mission. So that's what happened 20 years ago. That changed everything. You get a mission to find the Dragon Reborn.
And tell no one.
And tell no one. Mm-hmm. That seems pretty big. I understand why things have changed.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Now, moving into this entire episode, we have the majority of this episode taking place in Cairhien. We have so many meetings we have to talk about.
Well, there's a lot of overlap and a lot of characters all sort of coming together and doing different things and overlapping. So I think, we stick in Cairhien.
Yeah, we can do it pretty chronologically, too, which is nice. Yeah. It'll be pretty smooth.
And then after we're done all the Cairhien plot points, then we can move on to what everyone else is doing this
Yeah, because we have episode. Like tiny little pieces of like Matt and then Nynaeve and Egwene and
Perrin and Aviendha.
Like just like little snippets.
We didn't get last episode. No Perrin and Aviendha.
Okay.
So we're going to open with Moiraine and Siuan having their meeting.
Yeah, so this is the big formal meeting, and this is not a very good meeting. We get some context, though, because now that they're finally alone, like, Siuan even boots out Lyanna.
Yeah.
So this is a one-on-one.
Right, and I think an interesting point that I actually wrote down, because I think it sort of answers a few questions I had from last episode.
Sure.
Where she says 6 months of letters, but not one word about being stilled.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying I had to find out from Lan.
Right.
When I'm ambushed in my carriage. That sucks.
Yeah.
So they have been in contact, because one of my questions was, how does she know she's in Kyrian even right now? And one of those answers is, well, they've clearly been writing each other back and forth.
Been communicating,
They've been communicating, but Moiraine just hasn't been able to say, I've been stilled.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. And then in context, like I was saying, for timeline, it's still hard because that 6 months has to be somewhere from, like, Eye of the World, I would assume, because why else should we ever mention that she's still, like, that didn't happen until the Eye of the World events up until present time. So since the end of last season till now.
It's been 6 months.
6 months, yeah. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then spacing the travel time and all that, I just don't want to get into.
I don't want to either.
Logistics there. Okay. Couple things I noted from this too. Moiraine has been saying some questionable things just because Swan seems not pleased that Moiraine is saying these things. For example, Swan points out that Moiraine threatened to give Alana Lan's bond without permission.
That's a no-no.
That seems like a bigger deal than maybe I originally thought, with Moiraine like casually threatening that. But that seems to be something you don't do.
That's a no.
That's a no-no.
You get in trouble.
Yeah, maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the repercussion is.
Amerlin's office for sure.
Yeah. And now we also have Lan having told Alana about Rand being the dragon.
Right.
So that's also a big issue, big hurdle.
It is a huge issue, and it's because Moiraine is having all this inner turmoil.
Yeah.
With how does she even do her job anymore?
Yeah.
And how does she figure out life? And she's cutting everyone out. And
yeah. And this entire mission they've had for the past 20 years has literally only been Swan and Moiraine. And now all of a sudden we have to open it up to so many more people, like Varen because she's smart enough to figure things out, and Alana because Lan tells her. Like, I feel like they wanted to keep it secret for so long, and now all of a sudden, like, the doors are being opened.
Well, because we found him and it's the last battle.
Yeah, like, it's go time.
Like, at some point, now that you found him and the Forsaken are free again.
Yeah. You can't keep it a secret.
You can't keep it a secret forever. Like, maybe the initial mission?
Yeah.
Sure, but now it's time for people to know.
Yeah, so, I mean, in that sense, I kind of agree with Swan because she's saying, like, hey, you don't have to carry this burden alone anymore. We're going to do things a little more properly, never minding all the problems with it.
Moiraine doesn't like doing things properly. No thanks.
She wants to do it her way.
Yeah. But now this initial meeting is going to end by Swan saying, I think it's time for me to meet this Rand al'Thor.
Yeah, I love it. So that cuts to Rand and Lan outside the meeting room.
Oh, it's so cute.
I love this one too.
It's a little mentorship time.
It's like crash course, like, Rand, tuck your shirt in. Stop walking the way. Stand up straight. It's so good.
Yeah.
And Rand's freaking out because he thinks this is a literal trial, and he saw what happened to Logain, so he's a little bit worried about this. But then Lan tells him not to be selfish.
Yeah.
Because Rand's like, I need to save the ones I love. And Lan's like, hey, selfish. You have
Quit
to
it.
save everybody in the entire world, not just people you love.
That's your new job.
That's the thing you were born for. Just do it.
Right. And then he's like, oh, maybe don't go in and talk to the Amerlin with your sword.
Yeah.
And he like reaches for it, but then Rand does a
little twirl.
A sword form. And then Lan goes, ooh, you've been learning sword forms, but not very well.
Yeah. Well, you have to assume it's like,
stuff up,
yeah. Well, he's learning from the old guy, right?
Yeah. Earl.
Yeah.
Errol.
Yeah. It couldn't be Earl. That's
No.
a regular name.
It's just spelled funny.
Yeah.
It's Earl, but it's spelled funny.
Yeah.
No, it's Errol. And then he goes, okay, well, if you're going to use a sword form, you should use Cat Crosses the Courtyard.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one.
100% accurate. I love it. It's so good. Yeah, you got to keep your muscles loose, and it's a very arrogant walk.
Oh, it's a very thing. So
Yeah.
I think it's funny, and I hope that this continues, and we're going to get some Rand and Lan training together.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
He needed that initial little boost, and now Lan can be like, let me show you how to actually get some proper practice in. I'm hoping.
Okay.
And then we do have a very critical piece of advice from Lan. There's one rule above all others for being a man. Whatever comes, face it on your feet.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
Is that from the book?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then we're going to cut away for a little bit here. I want to do some of the other Kyrian stuff. Because after this, yeah, we get a couple like really tiny scenes that are a little bit relevant in a little bit.
Okay, so you're talking about the Varen,
yeah,
Jessica,
yeah,
Alana.
Yes, all that good little stuff. The beginning of Leandrin's little plot point here.
Out in the courtyard.
Exactly, yeah. Because we have this big meeting. Everyone has to wait for Swan, I guess, to have these meetings.
Right.
And you come when you're called.
They're up to their own missions. Like, we have Varen, who sends her warder to go find Ogier maps of the city.
Yeah.
So that's a little tidbit for later in the episode.
Yeah, and that's also what Jessica, I think, was doing at the libraries, was she was looking for that kind of stuff.
Finding stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we have Alana and her warders who are super suspicious of Varen.
Yes, and her warder.
Because they're clearly doing something a little shifty.
Well, they are, but also like, hey, Alana and Ivan and Max, I'm like, you guys are also shifty.
Yeah.
Like, we're all doing something secretive here.
Yeah. And then Leandrin.
Okay, but hold on.
Sneakiest of all.
That's true. But before, I want to point out something with Alana. It's just the way she runs her warders is so different from anything we've seen. We have Alana saying, I don't want us to split up because if there's a Forsaken in the city, like, we should be together. And then literally it's a 2-1 vote because the warders are like, no, we're going to go search. Yeah. So she gets like overruled, which is just kind of a funny thing that, I feel a lot of other rights that I would not be.
Oh, they wouldn't put up with that.
Not even a chance. Like, that wouldn't even be a question.
Right.
But she's a little bit more open with her bonds.
Clearly.
Yeah. Clearly. Okay, now let's talk about Leandrin,
who's going to wander in for some tea.
Just right into Moraine's old house.
Yeah.
And she's Aes Sedai, so you have to let her in, right?
Not her old house. It's her house.
That's true.
I mean, like, she used to live there, but she also
still lives there,
house.
too.
Yeah. We got last episode that it is hers.
Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have Andrea and Barthanes being like, welcome.
Yeah.
Because what are you supposed to...
Welcome to our sitting room where we're having some tea.
Yeah, like, oh, unexpected. Okay.
Yeah, and then we see the young Moraine painting, and Leandrin essentially just invites herself in for some tea.
Yeah, and we'll cut back to that later on, just to keep things chronologically a little bit more in place.
Okay, but right away we're like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, at first it's just like...
familiar with Barthanes a little bit?
I mean, in this first scene, I would say no, not yet. It's like, what is Leandrin up to in Moraine's house?
Together in my brain.
Yeah, like the next sequence is when it's really firm for me anyways. And then we also get one other little scene here of Lan having a visit with Moraine. She wants him to leave. He doesn't.
Oh, she's still being so mean to him.
Yes. Well, it's you're throwing rocks, right? To make him go away. Though? Yes. You keep doing that until he goes away, which he hasn't.
Yeah, and he's not going to. And he's asking all these questions.
Yeah.
Like, it's Detective Lan on the case.
Literally is.
And it's making all this sense. Everything he's been doing and asking questions about.
Yeah.
He's asking about what it feels like for her.
Yeah.
Not being able to channel anymore.
Yes, because according to Lan's reading of Tower Records, there have been 2 women in history who didn't end their own lives within... Like, most people do within a year, but there's only 2 people who lived and made it and didn't. So when he says, hey, have you ever thought about this? She kind of talks about how, the mission,
but then
Rand
she's like,
is more
not
important.
For 1 minute.
Not even a chance.
Not a chance.
Yeah, so that is definitely...
And he goes, thought so.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So you must not have been stilled then.
That's the conclusion. He's not there yet.
But this is very good investigatory journalism.
It is good. It is good.
Lan's part. Yeah.
If he was going to write a newspaper article,
it'd be so good. It's so good.
Yeah. And then he also points out, like, hey, Moraine, you should start trusting somebody. Like, and if it's not going to be me, I thought it would be Swan. But at this point, she is cutting everybody off in her entire life. And it's going badly. It's not going well for her.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right, back to Swan meetings. We got to get back to that.
Okay, can I ask you about your thoughts on the giant Amyrlin seat that is here in Kyrian?
I'm not so sure that it's the Amyrlin seat.
Well, that's what I'm asking. So it is. It's the exact same shape. It looks exactly like the Amyrlin seat that's in the White Tower.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's the same.
Okay.
It's not just like a big throne.
Okay.
It's the Amyrlin seat.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, did it travel with them? Or do we think that every palace
or certain ones with a reputation to host the Amyrlin has a specific chamber?
Right. Like
I would go with that.
Would we have the palace in Andor?
Yeah.
That has an Amyrlin seat.
I would honestly expect that to be a more likely situation than traveling with the seat.
It around. Although we do have magic.
That's true, too.
We could just lift it up with magic and stuff.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily know that Aes Sedai would be the ones to do that.
Right.
You know? So, I don't know. I think it's more reasonable to say if it is the exact same seat, that it's a replica that each or certain cities, at least ones that have a good relationship with the tower, would have. Like, we have because it's not altogether a huge room. Like, it isn't gigantic. But it's big enough to host some things.
Yeah, it would be an audience room, a room to have an audience in.
Yeah. If the Amyrlin wants to feel at home in this city. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go with that for now.
Okay.
Until maybe we'll see Andor, and maybe we'll see another one.
Okay, so this whole scene is pretty great.
Oh, man.
Except I feel so bad for Rand.
Okay.
But it's really funny.
I feel a little bit bad for Rand, only because
he's so
Rand.
ill prepared.
But he's had no real mentorship, partly because of his own fault, but also he needs it. He needs a kick in the butt right now, and that's what Swan is doing, is saying, I'm disappointed in your lack of progress as the Dragon Reborn. Do better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the summary. Because she says
some things that make him mad, and then he's gonna channel, and it's oh no, don't channel the Amyrlin. But then she literally
just snaps her fingers, and
he's shielded.
And then she's so upset. It's really? That's I'm one person.
Yeah.
You've had so much time here, and that's all you have.
You're not ready.
Even at the very intro of this meeting, because she can tell that Lana's prepared him to say things. Because he walks in and he's like, I stand ready.
Yeah.
And then she's like, do you, boy?
Yeah.
And it's right from the beginning. It's so funny.
Yeah. Now, I like the physical representation of him being shielded. It's happened several times in this episode.
Yeah.
Where Rand is shielded.
Yes.
And he's sort of physically down in this crouch.
I'm pretty sure. I feel like that was a combination of shielding, but also air binding.
Okay.
I felt it was both. But
okay.
Because
that happens at the end as well.
Yeah. They shield him, and then
as soon as his shield comes off, then he can stand up.
Right. Because he's not also bound with it. But I mean, I don't really know exactly. But I would also have to assume that just because you're shielded, you're not necessarily on your knees.
I feel
because we had Logain, right?
Yeah, no, I know. But physically for this scene, to make him look huddled and weak and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's maybe that's part of putting him in his place.
Maybe.
So Rand goes on a little bit of a rant. He's like, I don't want to be a spoke in the wheel. And then Swan gives him you're not the spoke, you're the water that turns the wheel itself.
The wheel.
Yeah, or breaks it. So
yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. But anyways, 6 months, he didn't learn anything, and the little line that ends this scene, we would have been so much better off if you were a girl.
Yeah.
So funny, because they can't even teach him how to channel, because they don't interact like that.
Yeah.
But it is a really funny little tidbit there.
It's funny.
Yeah.
She's and just exasperated.
Yeah. And honestly, it's a little bit of a nod to book readers too, I think, and just the universe of the Wheel of Time. So it's good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we're going to fast forward to Rand being held.
Yes.
So he's being shielded and held, and he's basically a captive right now.
Yeah.
Because we got that Swan's plan, the Tower Law, is when the Dragon Reborn is found, we're not going to gentle him, but we're going to keep him shielded, and we're going to use him as a weapon.
Yes, he's not the general, he's the weapon that they're going to use. And we're not going to ask any questions about how does that even work to teach him how to channel when you're only going to let him out of his cage, when you so choose. There's a lot of question marks about why that would even be something that would work. But that's the plan for now.
And I guess before we actually get to the Rand shielded and held hostage situation.
I mean, he
I guess not hostage, but just prisoner.
Captive. Held captive. Yeah.
Held captive. We get another meeting with Moraine and Swan.
Yeah, this one they're not very nice to each other, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Because this is just a bunch of finger pointing and a little bit of the blame game. Mm-hmm. Because Moraine is really concerned about the Reds gentling him if he's, held.
Being kept. Yeah.
And Swan says, not while I hold the seat. But it's do you really believe you are in that much control right now, because it doesn't feel that way, Swan.
Yeah, let's rewind to when Leandrin just told Lyanna that she's going to fall when the Amyrlin falls.
Yeah, like, this is not a good situation. And then the finger pointing starts because Moiraine's like, well, my job was to find the dragon, and Swan, you were supposed to prepare the tower for this entire...
Yeah, we had our plan.
Yeah, and then Swan's like, well, Moiraine, your plan sucked. You didn't really do it well, and you let him get away.
And how are you supposed to do your side of the plan when you can't even channel?
Yeah.
Because you were supposed to shield him if he started to go mad.
Yes. So it's a lot of finger pointing about how things haven't worked out very well, and it's like the start of, like, not the start necessarily, but it's more deterioration of their relationship.
It's sad.
It is sad. And then we get where this is the plan. So tomorrow, Queen Galdrian is returning. They'll announce him as the dragon with 14 sisters by his side to show the world that he is under the White Tower's control. And that's the plan of why he's being held now in the next scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now we can cut to Rand in the cell with Moiraine.
Right, because they have a whole conversation, sort of some filling in of what's going on.
And telling us, the viewer, of what the heck's going on here. It's like, hey, you are currently shielded. That's why you can't channel.
Yeah.
You can't feel the power. It feels bad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, once you're not shielded, then it all comes rushing back and it'll be great again. So we've got Lyanna here standing guard.
I think she's sitting, but go on.
Good point. Okay, fair enough. And Moiraine asks Rand, it seems quietly enough that Lyanna can't listen in, I guess, because she's like, hey, Rand, what was your plan? Like, where were you going when you got intercepted? And then Rand fills in Moiraine on everything he's learned.
Which I appreciate, because I've always been Team Tell Moiraine.
Team Tell Moiraine, absolutely.
And it would be so easy for him to just be like, I'm not telling you anything.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I hate you so much. You're not my mom.
I could
right?
see him do that. Because he's done that. You're not my mom.
But the fact that he's like, Egwene is being held in Falm by Ishamael.
Yeah.
And
then even when Moirane's like, did Lanfear show you that? He's like, yeah, she showed me, and I know it, and I know they want me to go there.
Yeah.
And then it's a very interesting point. So this is where we get a few times in this episode, a few people say it. The dragon is supposed to proclaim himself in Falm. There's like a little...
Bannered in fire over in the sky or
Bannered
something.
across the sky in fire. Yeah, it's like the little prophecy quotations that we get there. Subtitles are really helpful too.
So helpful.
Yeah, and Rand makes a very good point because he's like, hey, if the literal Forsaken want me in Falm, they sure the heck don't want me being held prisoner here in Cairhien by the White Tower. Like, that is 0% chance that they want that to happen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so then our next pieces here are a little flip-floppy.
Yeah, where it cuts back and forth between characters.
Yeah, and I actually don't remember what chronologically comes before what.
So next is the Liandrin meeting.
Liandrin Barthanes?
Yes. Okay. So that's what happens next. So Leandrin's tired of waiting because she's, I guess, been in here for 4 minutes.
Yeah, and so she's like, Andrew, get out of here.
Yeah, well...
You're dismissed.
Yeah, I find it so funny that Liandrin isn't even the one who dismisses her, though. She says to Barthanes, I'm tired of waiting, and then Barthanes, who used to be, last episode, a meek, mild little boy...
Who loves making sandwiches for his auntie.
Exactly, sandwiches. He's like, get out of here, Mom. This is royal business. And then, like, gets really stern. Like...
And then Mom goes, okay.
Yeah, well, credit to the actor.
But then goes and sneaks and listens.
Oh, I know. I love her little hidey holes.
Yeah.
Like, that's why she knows what's going on. She is so snoopy.
Yeah.
Imagine your mom like that.
She
or like
is.
any mom.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have the literal vents built into the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he's not so sweet. Liandrin is here to deliver an order, and then he says, what does our master ask of me? And it's like, oh, come on, dude. Freaking dark friends everywhere, man. Yeah, so got me. All right.
Yes.
Then Liandrin has some...
Interesting
some orders.
Orders.
Remove Moiraine from the board. Do it today, because she's in a cell at the palace, because Moraine's like kind of being held too, it seems.
Okay.
It seems that way.
By Swan?
Maybe. Like, she's not allowed to leave. Maybe not as held as Rand, but, like,
but
it
definitely,
seems...
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not allowed to leave, at least.
Okay.
And then she says, if your mom gets in the way...
off her, too.
Exactly.
And Barthanes is like, oh man, that's my aunt and my mommy.
But really? And then Landron's like, yeah, and the dark friends, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, this is classic in over your head situation.
Well, and I mean, I don't even know if he's in over his head or if this is just like what he does.
Nah, this feels in over his head. I really don't think that he is happy about this part of it.
Well, that's fair. I would say in over your head is when you try to then get out of it. And he does not try getting out of any of it. He, in fact, tries to do the things.
No, I think that he doesn't like it. I think that the definition of in over your head is just like, oh no, now you're in a situation you can't get out of.
Yeah, okay.
Like you're drowning.
All right.
But you got to do it anyway.
Except instead of him drowning, he has to drown his aunt and maybe his mom.
Dead.
Okay.
Drown him dead.
All right. Then it cuts away, and that's when we see Anvir listening to this.
Sneaky listening.
And she is very shocked.
No.
Right. And then we can cut to later here. Barthanes is going through the cells with a guard because, a little bit later, we can just get this done. He clearly has some sort of deal with this guard that he thinks, anyways, is the deal. Mm-hmm. And the guard's like, yeah, your aunt is alone, and we put a sedative in her tea, so she should even be asleep right now. And then they open the door, and Barthanes goes into the cell really quick to literally go kill.
Sword?
He's gonna go kill Moiraine now. That's the plan. And then Anvir pops up on the other side.
And he's like, I didn't think you'd actually do it.
Yeah, it's so crazy because thinking from Anvir's perspective, that's your kid, that's her son, and that would still be hard.
Okay, speculation time.
Sure.
Do you think that Liandrin was given orders to almost dispose of Barthanes and then worked with Anvir to sort of make this, because the fact that she's being held in a cell, when we know Moiraine isn't being held in a cell now,
not like this. So here's a question.
Weird, right?
What are the chances that this is even an order from a higher up and not just an order from Liandrin?
Liandrin just doesn't want Moiraine.
What's the chances?
Yeah, pretty good.
I think it's possible.
It's definitely possible.
I didn't see anybody
although
Lanfear.
Although Lanfear did meet with Liandrin, and Lanfear definitely wants Moiraine out of the picture.
Yeah, but she wasn't surprised later in the episode and Moraine's still there.
No, because she knows that
and
all the dark friends are inferior anyway.
Ishamael giving orders like that, he doesn't seem the type of person right now, at least, to order a lot of people to be dead. And he likes to keep people alive.
I wonder though if Lanfear would give an order to Liandrin just to see
I can see that.
She would carry it out.
I can see that too, like a test.
Whether or not she actually cared.
Yeah.
Because she can just kill Moiraine herself if she wants her dead.
Yeah, right?
She has no problem with that.
Yeah.
We've seen that.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I think, is this a Liandrin personal thing?
It might be, but it also might be a Lanfear order just to test.
Yeah, test the loyalty
of
right?
Liandrin. Yeah.
That's what you do. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind.
Or to test Barthanes' loyalty because he's about to marry the queen of Cairhien.
That's true too.
So,
and how effective are you at carrying out these orders? Barthanes right here shows not very
effective.
Not very effective.
And so anyway, Anvir's like, how could you? And then that's when he's like, how do you think we rose so high in power? How do you think I'm marrying the queen?
Yeah, well, and that's an interesting point about why people join the Dark. Is sometimes maybe it's not because you want to literally pledge to the Dark One. It's because you want to enhance your status, right, in the community, things like that. You want to be married to the queen. You want power of your own.
Yep.
So it's just an interesting take on that. So he's like, don't tell anyone. And she says, I already have. Yep. So that's also kind of a shocker. Mm-hmm. The end sequence here with it looks like the guard. So she closes, the cell is closed. He's inside. She walks away. Anvir's gone. And then the guards march up to the door. But it didn't. I don't know. It kind first impressions, I was like, oh, are they killing him? Are they going to open the cell and go in and stab him to death because he's a dark friend? What do you do with dark friends? I would have to assume you kill them eventually, right?
Yeah,
because you can't keep Barthanes alive.
Right, because Barthanes says, don't tell the queen.
Yeah.
Don't tell Moiraine.
Don't tell anyone. Yeah.
And he is upset, but then she goes, too late.
Yeah, it's done deal.
Already did.
Just initial impression is I don't know, maybe he's going to get killed here. But then maybe they're just standing guard. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Interesting. Okay.
And if I don't see a body, then he's not dead, I guess. So we'll do that.
Okay.
All right. Now, that's the end of the Barthanes stuff. We can leave it there.
Okay. Can we talk about Lan going to visit Logain?
Yeah, this is
I like that one.
It's a good one. And this is like a combination because also like Alana and Maxim are here too.
Yep.
But yeah, the interaction here is pretty harsh. Like Lan's kind of cutthroat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he puts a key down. Lan puts a key down and he says, "You see male weaves. What do you see when you look at Moraine?" And then there's like a little back and forth because Loghain's not really giving a straight answer. And then Loghain's like, "Don't expect a straight answer for someone you like literally put in a cell here. Like you put me in jail.
Yeah, I'm crazy.
Why am I I'm so crazy.
Ooh, I'm crazy.
Not going to give you a good, easy answer."
And then Lan says, "Okay, never mind. I won't help you break free then."
Right.
And then goes to walk away.
Takes the key and walks. That's playing hardball here.
Mm-hmm.
But then we find out, and this is such a great performance too by Loghain. So he says there's weaves on her from a man, thousands of strands pulled together, and he does the thing with his cloak.
All like this.
All like this, held in place, but nothing being channeled into them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lan thinks that's not possible, and Loghain doesn't either.
Yeah, but then he also thinks it's confirmation.
Yeah.
Of what he's already thinking.
Exactly, that there's
Detective
a shield.
Lan on the case.
Yeah, and I kind of like this, that it makes the Forsaken have something that is a skill that like used to be known and probably very commonplace in the Age of Legends, which is like, you know, you tie off your weaves and leave them there. But that's lost.
Is what Lan was asking about with Alana, and it made him seem all weird and sketchy that he was asking about if Forsaken had weaves that we didn't know about.
Exactly.
And stuff, yeah.
Yeah, like how can you maintain a shield if you're not physically present to do that?
Right. And now here's how I know that I really like Loghain as a character, because I was mad at Lan
because he took the key
away, for not letting him out.
Because Loghain was like, "What about the key?" Because Lan starts leaving, and then he's like, "I didn't forget what you did to Karini and Stepan. You know, those are the ones who died last season." Yep. But yeah, I was sad too. It's like,
I know. I was like, "Oh, you're right. That does suck."
Can't you just take him with you to help mentor Rand? Like, I thought he was going to be a mentor teacher position. Isn't there a traveling teacher budget? No?
Yeah, no.
Nothing?
I guess not. Yeah, but it kind of made me go, "Oh." I was like, I guess that's fair, but it kind of made me mad.
Yeah.
I want Loghain out like a...
Yeah, I know. Okay, so that's a good little scene here.
Yeah.
So now let's cut to Rand in the dream world.
Now, are we assuming that Rand has fallen asleep in the cell?
I think so.
Yeah, okay.
I think he had to do his best to go to sleep.
Good luck. Like, yeah, right. We talked about this last time.
This is coming from you who has problems sleeping.
Yeah.
I find nothing strange about this.
Really?
Yeah. Like, if you need to sleep, you go to sleep.
Oh, even in this high-pressure, weird situation?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, it's only unbelievable to you because
there's no way, especially like sitting up in
if it was you, yeah, no way am I believing that you did that. It was like not a chance.
Yeah.
Even if she's in her comfortable bed, the fact that you said she had to do something means she stayed awake.
Yeah.
Like no chance.
I thought about all those things I had to do while I was sleeping and I couldn't fall asleep.
Yeah. So anyways, he goes I have to assume he goes to sleep.
Okay.
Lanfear is there waiting because why not?
Yeah.
She's always waiting for him. And she's disappointed that he didn't even make it out of the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I love this interaction between the two of them.
She's so ruthless.
It's so funny.
I love her so much. And just this, I love that she's just still in her crazy getup.
Yeah.
It's just so
But again,
good.
that's a World of Dreams outfit.
I love it.
You don't have to physically, I assume, get trained, change into it. You're in it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
So
that's how that works.
It's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, who's helping her out and in and out of it?
Well, no.
Can't do that yourself.
You gotta be able to do it yourself.
Okay. So Rand explains to Lanfear what's going on. He's like, I'm in a cell in the Sun Palace. The Amerlin's holding me. And Lanfear's like, yeah. And he says,
I know.
Yeah. He says, can you help me get out of here?
Can you help me, please? I really love you so much.
Yeah. And I love this too. So this is like the jealous girlfriend thing where she's like, well, why don't you ask Moraine to help?
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, maybe I will then.
Yeah.
And then she gives him the, oh, I love it when you try to manipulate me. It's just because she 100% is digging this.
Yeah.
Like, just the back and forth.
That's funny.
And I gotta say, for the record, so when you think Forsaken, all these powers, weaves we don't know about, and Rand's like, I need help escaping a prison, maybe you would think, oh, she's gonna do something really cool and like bamf him out of the prison or whatever.
Yeah.
Nope, she's just gonna walk around and start setting the city on fire.
Oh my gosh, she's so badass.
Just like regular, just exploding things and fireballs.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny that that's the plan.
She's such a cool guy.
She is.
Does not look at explosions.
And then she's like, 3,000 years and I'm back to doing this. But then she has like a little glimpse where it's like, you love this.
She loves it.
You love setting stuff on fire.
Yeah, huge fireballs. It just shows her power too, right?
Yeah, like she's just doing, but it's so funny that that's like her plan to help Rand break free.
Right, because then Varen.
Yeah,
this must be a Moraine Varen thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Moraine is like, hey, good job on being crafty with your words. Like, this has totally got to be a setup here.
Okay, so Varen's like, you gotta go, Lyanna.
Yeah, well, very specific what she says. You gotta get out of here. The Amyrlin needs your strength. I'll take his shield.
Yeah.
But she didn't say she was going to keep holding it. So it's just she's being very technical with her words.
And Lyanna seems pretty skeptical.
She does.
She almost wants to say no.
She does, but then she kind of gets strong-armed, being like, this is an order.
From the Amyrlin.
Well, I don't think she said that.
She's like,
this is an order,
That's
Lyanna.
what's implied.
Yeah. This is order from Moraine to me to now you.
Yeah. From like Lanfear. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, but it's really good. So then Varen takes over the shield.
Because the foregate's on fire.
Yeah.
And so we need help going to deal with that and put that all out.
There was an opportunity for distraction. Now we're using that opportunity to get him out of here.
That's right.
Yeah, so Varen takes the shield over and then like immediately lets it go.
Yeah.
And then Rand can stand up again, so that's good. And then we find out why Varen has been looking for the Ogier maps of the city.
Turns out, Waygate.
We're going back in the ways.
Yep.
Friggin' love the ways.
That's how we're going to get to Falm super quick.
That's how we do things.
Yep.
You know who wouldn't like this right now, though?
Who?
Loyal, because we get a tiny little tidbit. Varen's like, oh yeah, there was an Ogier steading in the inner city, but the Kyrana just built right over it. Ugh, Loyal would be so upset.
He would.
Yeah.
Now, before we get to our end final scene in Kyrian, here, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And then we'll get to what our other characters are up to this episode as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so we're back.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go rushing off to find this old, abandoned Waygate.
Well, we get a couple of scenes. We get everyone kind of joining up. There's the Alana and the Warders joining for a little bit of chaos going on in the city. And then I do love, it's a tiny little sequence, but Lyanna shows up to Swan, who's with the other sisters, and they're
just currently making it rain, literally.
Yeah, making it rain. Just giant rainstorm. I think it's a pretty cool scene where you get to see like all the weaves go up.
And they're linking. And,
yeah. So we do get some of that. But then just the clear disappointment from Swan that Lyanna was fooled.
Yeah. She's like, I'm here, Mother.
Yeah, it's like,
and she's
no.
Like, why?
No. Yeah. Got him.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go rushing off. Let's find this Waygate. And then we have the scene with Lan, who puts all of his pieces together.
Detective Lan cracked the case.
He cracked it.
He cracked the case. You don't solve a case, you crack it. You crack
No,
the
you
case.
don't crack a case, you solve the case. Wait, which is it?
No, I think it's you crack the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
You solve it. Either way, you cracked it, and then he solved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it turns out she wasn't actually stilled.
Rand.
Yeah.
Take a look. What do you see?
Yeah.
Use your weaves.
Yeah.
Even though you're not trained at all and you suck at this and just like,
I love
do
it
anyway.
Because Lan's like, oh man, it's tied in a knot. You're not good enough to untie this.
Just cut it.
Cut it.
How does he even know how to do that?
I too would assume that Rand isn't good enough to like untie.
No, but also does he even know how to cut? Like he doesn't know how to do anything.
Yeah, use it with a knife of power.
This just feels a little serving the plot for me.
Hold on. One of the things about the Wheel of Time is that sometimes your instincts can be relied on.
Boo.
And you know that, though.
I know.
You have to rely on your instincts to do things sometimes.
Far too convenient. I wish
use
we saw
the Force, Luke.
I just maybe
use the Force. No. Use the Force. Use the Force.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just hit the Pokeballs.
Just do it.
Yeah. Ugh.
You're gonna have to go with it, okay?
Oh, I know I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I am gonna question it slightly, though.
Fine. Well, he does it, and then Moraine can channel again.
Yeah, she's pretty happy.
Yes. Okay. So this is also like a little bit of. I feel like Moraine has been pushing everyone away. Well, everyone feels that way because she has been.
Yes, it's because she has.
The fact that Lan is able to solve this, she lets him back in a little bit. As much as Moiraine is going to let anyone back in any given moment.
Sure.
And, like, thanks him. And he says, sorry for, it taking so long for me to do my job, which is, like, protecting you and things like that. So, It is nice. I do like it.
Now, to be fair, Moiraine made it extremely difficult.
You made it extremely difficult to do anything to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and things are going badly when Lan is in the library, like, reading books and stuff. Nuh-uh, no way. Okay, so then we've got Moiraine stepping up to the Waygate, and this is a nice scene, because this is her channeling again for the first time in a long time, but also, as a comparison, her opening up the Waygate to Lanfear momentarily opening up the Waygate. The speed at which they do things
is different.
So different.
Well, because their strength is different.
It's just like it's a funny thing.
And their knowledge is different. And no, it's a good
point. I do like the comparison between the two.
It's a good thing to compare for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so she does it. Great. But then Rand gets blocked. And then Lan gets thrown back and Swan is here. To ruin Is this the person who ruins all the plans? I feel like from the episode description at the beginning,
by someone they know.
I feel like it's got to be Swan, right? The one ruining the plans?
Yeah.
She's the initial ruiner of said plan.
Yeah, so she's super pissed off.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, you lied to me about being stilled.
Yeah, and it's like, no,
she's like, no, I didn't. Like I can't lie. And so it's like, are you accusing her of being
like a dark friend? Like, what's the implication? I don't necessarily want to say that being able to lie implicates you as a dark friend necessarily. I'd rather say like you found a way to, I don't know, get out of that oath.
Right.
That's what I'd prefer, because it's just
it felt a little like, especially it doesn't help that Lanfear shows up.
Yeah, right away.
In a minute.
But first Swan does something
Lanfear
worse though. Swan does something really bad here.
Yeah, she imposes her oath.
Yeah. I think this is the entire breakdown of their relationship is literally this scene, because Moiraine isn't going to listen to Swan.
She's
Swan
like, no,
knows
I'm
that.
Going. Yeah.
And then Swan's like, don't make me make you. And then Moiraine looks at her, in my eyes, like she doesn't think she's going to do it.
Well, she even says, don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Swan's like, yeah. So then Swan forces, based on the oath that you're going to obey me, forces Moiraine to close the Waygate. And we see this scene where Moiraine is like literally like not doing it of her own accord. She is turned, her body turns and closes the Waygate. And then the look that Moiraine gives Swan after that is like, you just violated everything and me by forcing me to do something. Like, I feel like this was definitely a scene where
Swan has lost all trust in Moiraine, and Moiraine is like, you got to trust me. This is part of the plan. This is what has to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to go well if we try to keep him at the tower. Like, that part of the plan is done.
Yeah.
And you got to trust me on that. And Swan is saying, no, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
And so that's the hard part.
Yeah, very.
But then something extra exciting happens.
Another person they know.
It's Lanfear.
Comes and ruins more plans? No, but this is like a continuation of the original plan. Yeah. Okay.
So she walks out, and then Swan does her thing where she prepares 1,000 daggers made out of air.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, Moiraine says Lanfear.
Yes.
And then that's Swan's pick up like, oh shit, this is Lanfear.
Yes. And then she's like, oh, I'm going to attack her.
Well, because what else are you supposed to do? Like, I actually don't hold that against Swan, because she is the literal Amyrlin seat. You should attack a Forsaken, right? Like, if you know that this is Lanfear, you should probably attack. But also...
Yeah, but then Lanfear, like, a flick of her finger.
Oh, yeah, not even a... I love the power difference. I love the fact that it's, like, not even... Like, there is nothing that one Aes Sedai can do against the Forsaken right now. So,
Nope.
Yeah, so Swan gets blasted out of the way, and then
Rand isn't shielded anymore.
Yes, Moiraine isn't shielded anymore either.
Yeah.
And then Lanfear makes a move towards Moiraine, but then Rand steps in, and he's like, no.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. And Lanfear warned her, like, hey, if I see you guys together
again,
I'm going to kill her. But then Rand's like, I'm not going to help you if you kill her. So...
And she goes, oh, fine. Oh, you're reminding me more of Luz every day.
She loves it. Okay. Yeah. And this is where she walks up and just like sweeps her hand and the way's open.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool. I do like it.
And so now we have Swan, who's still alive.
Still alive, but injured on the ground.
Injured on the ground, watching this happen.
Yeah.
Moraine, Lanfear, and Rand.
Yeah.
Heading through the ways.
Right.
So I feel like that a little bit makes the Dark Friend speculation not great.
Probably not great because you're going with Lanfear, but also like this is the plan. And all these prophecies say that Rand has to go to Falm. Like, are we listening to prophecies or not? I don't know. But we get the crossover, because this is like the end sequence here. We get the crossover of all the flashbacks of all the happy moments between Moraine and Swan. And it is sad because it's like, well, I guess this relationship is dead in the water right now.
Oh, good fish metaphor.
Well, you have to do the fish metaphors. It's Swan.
Yeah.
She wouldn't understand it otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know where we're going to go with that. But...
No, arrows lead to Falm.
Yeah, absolutely.
How interesting is this ways journey going to be?
I think we're going to skip it. Well, kind of like we skipped the Leandrin one.
Imagine.
Yeah. It's like, do you talk along the way?
So awkward.
Yeah. They don't say anything.
Well, and Lanfear clearly has a way of moving herself even quicker than the ways. So, like...
Sure. But not everybody else, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, we're going to switch gears.
Yeah. We got to get all these tiny little plot points from the other people.
Yeah. So, I want to talk about Matt.
Yeah. He's got a weird sequence.
It is weird, but I have to say, the first time I saw it, I remember really not liking it.
Okay.
And I liked it better this time.
I liked it the first time.
I didn't.
That's the problem. I like everything.
The problem is I just had an expectation of what it was going to be.
Sure.
And then when it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, then I was like mad at it.
Yeah,
and I was like, what the hell was that?
Fair.
So.
Well, so was Matt. He was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Okay, first off, first rule with Matt. If you don't go to Falm, because that's what we wanted to happen, you're going to just get brought to Falm.
Well, he gets bonked.
Yeah, there was a few times this...
Bonked on the head.
Bonked on the head, knocked out, and then he wakes up in Falm.
Yeah.
And Lanfear's here.
It's Lanfear. Transported him right there.
I gotta say, people are really mean to Matt in the sense that we had Leandrin, when Matt was captive, like personally insulting Matt.
Yes.
And then Lanfear
is like, I thought you'd be more impressive.
I thought you'd be more impressive. Like, what the hell is that, man? Yeah. Like, I get that you're Lanfear and you're evil and stuff, but why are you mean?
Yeah.
Like,
just mean, a bully.
And he doesn't even know you. He doesn't even know you. And you didn't even say, like, I'm Lanfear. You're just like some lady.
Yeah.
It's a little crazy. Yep. But poor Matt.
So he's in Falm.
Yeah, very much so.
And then the next scene that we see him, we have Ishamael.
Yeah, this is such a good scene.
Who's there, hanging out and just monologuing.
A little
bit.
About
a lot of things.
Well, because again, it's all the cheeky lines, because Matt's just like, so you're just going to walk in here, not say anything, and just whittle? And then he gets the other line. He's like, is this a sex thing or a murder thing? Either way, I'd prefer you stick to talking. Like all the cheeky little Matt lines.
I'd skip the talking, he said.
So, stick to talking.
Skip the talking.
Oh, I thought you said stick to the talking, like he doesn't want a sex or murder thing.
No, I said, I think he says, if this is a sex thing or a murder thing, either way, I'd like you to skip the talking.
Oh, that's funnier. Both are good, but I like that one too. Yeah. No, it's just so all the little lines that Matt gives us here. So then there's like this weird monologue with the Ishamael being like, you have trouble sleeping. He does the same monologue that we actually heard from, what is it, Dana? Who is saying the wheel turns and people keep hurting and moms killing dads and kids kids killing parents and stuff like that. And it's like, why can't we just break the wheel? And we had this from Ishamael previously in his conversation with Lanfear too, saying like, I believe in the actual mission to destroy the wheel and just end everything. Yeah. Because he is sick and tired
of being reborn.
He doesn't want to be reborn anymore.
Yep.
Like I just want to close my eyes forever and then that's it.
So he makes some sleepy time tea.
Is it sleepy time?
No. It's drug time.
It's hallucinogenic tea.
Yeah. So I looked up ayahuasca.
Why? What is that word?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So ayahuasca is a South American herbal tea that's a hallucinogen.
Why do you know that?
Oh, because people go to the desert and do it, and then they have cultural experiences and spiritual experiences. And
yeah, that's what this is?
That's what it feels like.
Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
You know,
I don't know
where
enough
I saw
about
it most recently? I watched an Aaron Rodgers documentary on Netflix. He goes and does ayahuasca.
It's like, okay.
Anyway, it's illegal in Canada.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me, man.
But it's traditionally used by indigenous cultures and folk healers in the Amazon.
Okay.
For spiritual ceremonies, divination, and a healing of psychosomatic complaints.
Okay, well, I don't feel like Matt got a lot of healing here.
No, you either have
a great time
or a horrible time. Usually, that's what it's a hallucinogenic.
Yeah, so that
causes psychosis.
It checks out. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
also, all sorts of things.
Yeah. Okay, so with this tea, Ishii gives Matt the breakdown that it says, hey, humanity forgot a lot of stuff. Not all of it was technology. This tea shows you things. It lets you glimpse your past lives, all the people you used to be, 1,000 yous, and through you, the real one. So wait 15 minutes, and then make 1 cup for yourself, only 1. Don't drink more of it. And find out who you really are. And it cuts to 15 minutes later with Matt watching this time tick down from the little sand timer thingy. And then he pours a cup and hesitates for like a second and then just like downs it.
Yeah.
And then thinks it's a bad batch because it doesn't work immediately. The 4 seconds.
So the psychoactive tea takes more than
17 seconds. Well, it was like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And then he starts having a trip.
Yes.
And then he starts having a bad trip.
Yeah. So if I watch it from the sense of this is a hallucinogenic tea.
Sure.
Brought on probably, number one, by his own inner consciousness.
Yeah, like how accurate is what Ishamael said to Matt?
And then also influence from the Ishamael.
Yeah.
Because we know, like, in the dream world and stuff, he can influence things.
For sure.
He makes people see stuff all the time.
Why can't he do it to someone who's tripping hard?
Yeah.
Like,
or
that seems...
is he even tripping hard? What if this is just like dandelion tea?
Yeah.
And then the whole trippy thing is actually just
Ishamael. It's very possible. Like, I'm okay with that, too. Like, it could all just be a bunch of crap.
It does feel...
Yes. One of my favorite things about Wheel of Time is that it's all unreliable narrator. We can trust what everyone says, but that's usually a bad idea.
You don't.
Because it's usually not 100%
Especially
accurate.
The father of lies.
Yeah, literally. And he owns that.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
anyway,
okay, we have a couple visions.
Scene much better than I did last time. So.
Okay, so the 4 major things that I see in this scene. So we've got his mom calling him a damn prick, like him,
like his
father, dad, right? You've always been rotten. We've got a vision of Matt like hanging literally from a noose. We've got a vision. It looked like Matt drowning someone in like a water bin. And then also stabbing someone in the back with a knife.
And that's not the Rand vision. That's a different one.
It looked different to me.
Okay.
It looked different to me.
Okay.
And then that ends with Matt like saying stop just repeatedly, and then his mom is dead on the ground or something. But then it's
him, and
a
then
reverse
it's him,
body
and then
freakiness,
it's him.
and it's really weird. It's really weird. And that cuts to Matt coming too.
Okay.
He's out of the trip.
And then he's like, "Oh my god, I'm a terrible person."
And Ishamael's like stroking his face.
Yeah.
So concerned. So concerned. And then we get the Ishamael monologue about the, ending of the Wheel of Time. Everybody hurts. It's a simple fact. We just come back again and again. And then he wants to close his eyes and never open them. And Matt asks how. And that's how the scene ends with it. But I don't know what we're really taking out of it. And we'll have to see how Matt feels in the morning, maybe.
It's a lot of manipulation of Matt and his current emotional state.
Yeah.
Everything that he's been through in the last 6 months has been really bad.
It's been a tough time for him.
It's been a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say he's had a tough life too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
All right. So we'll come back to Matt.
So we have Matt securely in Falm. Check.
Yeah, he's there. He's there for.
Now we have Nynaeve and Elaine also in Falm. Check.
Yeah, exactly. So we're all here. We have only a tiny little sequence, but it is so funny.
Okay, so they are on the hunt.
Yeah.
For Egwene. They're trying to figure out how to save her.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to get her from where she is, what we're doing, the Adam itself. Like we got
parts of our plan. Let's put it together. And Elaine is clearly very in charge.
Yes, because Nynaeve keeps being like, let's just go do the thing. And Elaine's like, we don't have any plan. Like, we got to
have some plan.
We got to do
Otherwise,
something.
we're just going to get captured ourselves.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they find Loyal, which I love.
I love this entire trifecta. Like, between the three of them, the dynamics is so good.
Yeah, Nynaeve, don't encourage her.
Well, Loyal, first off, starts bowing to Elaine in the middle of this. Like, dude.
No, that's not in the middle of the city. They're, like, hidden by these curtains.
They were kind of pulled off to the side.
By some sheets that are hanging to dry.
No one notices a giant freaking ogier. But if you're going to bow to her, that is really pointing out that, like, this is...
And she, like, smirks, like, she loves it.
Oh, she does. She loves it.
Nynaeve says, don't encourage her.
She loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get a little bit of information about Egwene being at the kennels.
Where she's kept, and what's going on. And
that it's like a bad situation. And then Loyal tells them that the Death Watch don't let anyone else get near except for the Suldam.
The Death Watch guards.
The Death Watch guards don't let anybody get near except for Suldam.
Okay.
And then they promise to get Loyal out too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then they come up with a plan, and then they immediately enact their plan.
Yes, we're going to ambush a Suldam with the Adam, and Nynaeve, like, taps the Suldam.
Yeah, she's like, fits pretty well, don't you think?
And it's just like the shock of, like...
And she's, like, confused. She's like, what's happening?
Why do you have that?
And then it was like, collared.
Boom,
collared.
Collared works. And then Elaine just smacks her in the face real hard. Bonk her in the head and knock her out. Mm-hmm. As we've said, not as easy as we think TV makes it.
Well, it happened to Matt this episode, too.
That's true.
Bonked on the head.
That was by Lanfear. That's a magical bonk.
Was it?
No.
No.
No, it wasn't.
No, okay, but sticking with Infalm and the Shanshan.
Hold on. What do you think of their plan?
Great.
Capturing a Suldam with an Adam.
I love it.
And then...
Yeah.
Part 2 of, step 1 here. And then...
I love it.
I don't know what step 2 is, or parts 1 through 3.
We're going to get in.
Just going to get on in there.
We're going to go.
And then
I love
see what happens.
You know what? Yes. It's so good. I love it, love it, love it, and I just want to see the rest of it.
Okay. It feels like it's not very, like...
I feel like these are the little moments I forgot happened.
Yeah,
and so I got to see it again, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's great.
I just feel like they don't have a full plan yet. It's like we're going to do this part of the plan, and then see where it takes us. Mm-hmm. Which might go bad for everyone. I don't know. Might.
Might not, though. Might go great.
Might go great. That's, you know what? I never considered that.
Yeah.
Might go great.
Maybe you should. Maybe you should consider about things going super great.
Right? Okay. How about Egwene? She's having a tough time.
Okay.
But after our conversation last episode.
Yes.
I feel better.
Do you?
Because you said for Egwene, it's just she lost that battle.
Yes.
But not the war.
Yes.
And this episode really sinks in that
Shows
Egwene...
that.
She is not giving up.
She's not broken.
She's not broken.
Completely.
She just lost that fight.
Right. And she's sort of understanding her circumstances.
Yeah.
At this point for how not to just get beat up every day.
Yeah.
And now it's interesting because we go to some strength testing scene of the Damani.
Seems like for like new Damani, like a new Damani with their new Suldam.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do a little test and see where we are power-wise.
How are we strength-wise?
Yeah, and how are we at taking directions and orders?
Right.
As new Damani, right?
Okay. And then that's when Rena says, you better not freaking embarrass me.
Don't embarrass me, okay?
I'm gonna be so mad.
We gotta work together.
And then she says, but don't worry, you don't have to do anything for this part.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of interesting lines here from Rena and from the trainer, the main trainer who's running the session is using Maigen as the like test subject.
Oh, really?
The original.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yeah, so she's actually there. But this main trainer lady says few people are capable of wearing the bracelet and fewer of having a true connection with their Damani. So it's just like Rena's attitude towards Egwene. It seems like she's really working towards that true connection.
Oh, yeah, because
it's not an everyday thing.
No, and then she'll almost be rewarded if she can do this rare thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so then we also get a tip that, that wave of dust almost hit us. That's very strong. Good job.
Yes. Yeah. It's just for like comparison.
Yeah.
And then Egwene
blasts everybody.
And it's like it can be heard and felt in Falm.
Yeah.
Because that's actually a cutscene we get shifting to Loyal.
Yeah.
Of everyone's like, whoa, what was that? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And this is the problem too that I have with it. This, just like last episode, is everything Egwene wants. about people telling her she's special and that she's super strong and she's talented and unique, but not like this.
Not like this. And you can see for like a split second.
Yeah, where she's like a little proud of herself. And I get that because you did something incredible. But then at the same time, it's like, this is the worst.
And this is the opposite of how they teach novices at the White Tower.
Oh, yeah, right?
You're almost like not allowed to channel.
Yeah. Like, don't
Tower.
go too fast. Don't go too strong. Like, yeah.
All of that.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Okay, so then it's sponge bath time.
Yes, this is in the cell after the day is done. We have...
And I noted that some time must have passed.
Sure, okay.
Because Egwene isn't looking super injured. So either she's been healed.
Sure.
Which I doubt
we don't really know very much about the Seanchan and healing itself.
I would doubt, like, even if they could.
Yeah.
I would doubt they would heal her.
Yeah, like, unless it was, like, life-threatening, I would assume. It's kind of like you earned your punishments.
Sure, but then they'd have to get, like, another Damani.
Yeah. It just feels like they wouldn't want to waste Damani on an actual, like, one of them dying. Because they're clearly a valuable force and currency, so...
Yeah, so I'm going on the assumption that it's been a week or two because she doesn't have any more bloody eyes and all of her cuts and swelling have gone down on her face.
Yeah.
And so she's looking relatively healed, so it's been some time.
Sure. That's good to note. Yeah, so it's sponge bath time as a reward, I guess, for doing well today.
Mm-hmm. And what a nice bonding moment.
Yeah, well, and Rhaena has figured something out. Egwene only doesn't like being a Damani because she doesn't know why the Seanchan are... she doesn't know the mission statement.
Oh.
That's the problem. She's figured it out.
She needs to know the mission and the vision.
You got to know the mission and the vision for you to be a part of the company.
Got
right?
It. Yeah.
So the Seanchan Empress has one charge, which is to unite every person on the planet under the light because the last battle is coming and we can only fight if we stand together, all of us, and that includes you and me, Egwene. That's the mission, right? So, got to get on board.
Okay, interesting. Then we have Egwene smirking a little.
Yeah, she
smiling.
Is alternate opinion.
And then she says, I will kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's a really well-delivered line.
It makes Rhaena so mad.
And she takes the sponges and leaves.
And slams the door.
Doesn't even like beat her anymore.
No.
Just like the punishment enough is not getting a sponge bath.
Ugh, so mad.
Yeah. It's really good.
She's so angry.
I know. I like that she hasn't given up.
Yes, it's great. It's excellent.
She's still fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last people we got to talk about.
Perrin and Aviendha.
And
also Bane and Chiad.
Yeah.
I love the Bane and Chiad introduction.
Pretty fantastic. And a little bit more intro to the Aiel.
Super Aiel world building, and that's about it.
Yes. So they're walking through the desert. They get brought to... Well, Perrin sees a woman in the sand. Aviendha's like, hey, you got really good eyes because nobody sees us.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Perrin and Aviendha who get brought over to the grave of Jolene.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And then, from what I understand, this is somebody who was with Aviendha when they were, like, ambushed and had to fight, and then Aviendha was taken and put in the cage?
It seems like that might be the situation. Like, it's a little bit unclear, but Aviendha gives us the backstory that she was supposed to have Jolene's back, took an injury, and then the infection overtook Jolene and she died. So I suppose that would be while Aviendha
was with her at some point. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little bit unclear, but yeah, something. So.
Okay, so then Bane and Chiad are like, okay, well, it's your fault that she died.
Yeah, and we don't get to see any of that or hear any of that.
No.
They just take her over and Aviendha goes with them,
her up. Yeah.
beat the crap out of her, and Perrin doesn't understand.
And Hopper doesn't understand. Hopper's like, rough. That's my friend too.
Which is Wolfer. I don't know what's happening.
Yep.
And then they tell Perrin not to intercede. He just has to watch. And then after that scene, the crazy scene where she gets beaten up pretty bad, they're all walking together, and Perrin asks her, "It's like, are you guys all good now?
You're cool? Yeah.
You're cool?" And then she explains, "Yeah, I had to fulfill my toe to Jolene and restore her G." So then Perrin kind of figures out, it's like, okay, so toe is...
the toe thing that you were telling me last time.
That's the thing. So toe is the obligation, and then also don't tell people about it, because that's dishonorable to tell people about their obligation, their toe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? Don't talk about it.
Don't talk about that. But Aviendha tells a story about defending herself, and then Jolene took a sword in the back, and, that killed her, so ultimately it was her fault. And then Aviendha asks Perrin about his wedding ring.
Oh, does that mean that a woman owns you?
Yeah. Does that mean that you only lie with one woman?
Yeah.
Is that like a thing?
And he's like, yes.
Yeah, Bane's going to be disappointed, but Shiad will not care.
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah. And they make it with inside a farm and the ocean, which really is confusing and scary.
Wow, that's a lot of water.
Wow, how is that possible? Yeah. I don't understand what I'm looking at here.
More sign language, made in hand talk.
Made in hand talk, yeah. But that's the thing. Everyone's at farm. We're all close enough.
Yep. So then I guess that whole Jolene thing wasn't that close to a Tuon's Mill? And maybe. That was just a different thing? I don't know.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say how far away they are, too. Yeah. Like, I don't know how long they were walking because we don't have, like, days and time frames.
That's true. We don't have that, again.
Yeah, and they could be a lot closer than... I don't know. I don't know. And it's fine. It doesn't matter.
You're right.
On to episode 8.
We just needed to learn more about Giotto.
Yeah.
That was the point.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, time to go to Falm for this exciting wrap-up.
We're there already.
Yeah.
Well, we have some people traveling on the way in the ways.
We're within reach.
For the season finale.
Yeah, that's right.
And what's really exciting is season 1 officially airs and comes out on Thursday.
Yeah, for season 3.
Very exciting. Lots of people already saw episode 1 in a very cool exclusive fan screening event that happened on the weekend.
Yeah.
But here we are. We didn't watch it.
No, I'm excited to watch it on Thursday.
And I have been staying away. I've been staying away.
Yeah, we're going to be shutting down everything. We're not looking at anything. I haven't been looking
at anybody's things or seeing anything, so I'm very, very excited. I'm getting anxious.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
Okay.
Because as we say around here, it's part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Hey, thanks so much for sticking around. That's the end of another fun episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted and edited by Dani and Brett and produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Cody Feltz, Benjamin, Jamie Young, Megan, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Adam, Mozyme, Michelle Forbes, MKM, Antoine Benoit, Lawrence Bradley, Colby T, Gabby Young, Rycat, Zane Sayaka, Matrix, Matt Truss, The Albatross, Bratimus Prime, Sarah Creech, Sims, and Saverio Bartolini. With music by Audionautics. Now, everyone, please be sure to go check out our Patreon page if you are interested in supporting us and the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon-exclusive merchandise as a thank you, plus you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And, at the time of recording, we have almost 50 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. Find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. As always, please be sure to give us a 5-star review because it really does make a huge difference in helping other people find us. And be sure to tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. For general information about our show, like how to send us shot glasses, how to join our Discord, and how to get in touch with us, visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. Thanks again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.